What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Wanted to make a video to talk about the possibility of a plan B, a backup plan, and why that may be necessary and what that's going to look like if it comes to pass. First of all, if you're just finding the channel and you want to follow somebody's journey to nomadic type living, hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave me a comment below. So the bank account is, the savings account is up to $12,000. I'm taking a pause because I'm going home in 2 weeks. I'm taking a full 7 days off instead of 4 or 5 like I normally do, which means that because of the way I've structured it to be a full pay period, I'll get a blank check. So I got 3 more checks coming, and then I'll get a blank check. Now I've already got the money for my bills put back just like I did the other time, and I've already paid for my hotel. So at this point, I have some stuff I need to take care of when I get home. The first day, there's going to be a cookout and barbecue with about 20 of my friends, and I get to see everybody and have a good time and drink a bunch of whiskey and get blasted. So that's going to be a great time. And then after that, I got to go get, it's time for me to get these dentures finalized to get the hard reline, but I'm going to go ahead and do one more soft reline first, so I have to get that done. And then I have to go to the doctor and get my diabetes meds flowing again, and I also have to get my DOT physical for work. So I'm going to have to spend some money in there, and then the rest of the time is just going to be like normal, you know, relaxing and taking care of stuff. So I'm pausing on the savings to make sure I got a nice chunk of cash when I get in there to get all this done and not have to touch any of the savings. And then when I go back out, if I have enough, I'll put another $1,000 in the savings. So about this backup plan. So this whole thing, all of this, no matter what it looks like, if it was to be a van, if it was to be a cargo trailer, whatever it is that I'm building, the operative word is build. And so that means that the whole thing really is contingent upon me having a place to execute this build. And it's not going to be just a quick 2-week project, you know what I mean? Because of the nature of the work that I do, I'm going to have to build some, go back out on the road, come back, build some more, and it's going to be an extended period of time it's going to take to build this thing. And originally I'd hoped that some friends of mine who had offered to house the van and stuff would let me do the work there, and you know, do some conversations that we had made me feel like maybe I was asking a little bit too much of them, especially now that I've switched over to a cargo trailer instead of a van. And so the secondary plan was to do it out at my parents' place. My parents live kind of in a rural area out on a lake, and they've got a lot of space. They've got plenty of room, and I figured, well, they won't have any problem with that. It'd be no problem for me to do it out there. Well, talked to my mom again this morning for Mother's Day, and I'd already broached the subject with her a while back. And when I was talking about doing a van, I talked to her about it quite some time ago. And guys, like, she's old and she doesn't get it, and I can tell that she thinks this whole thing is just a really bad idea. We're taking a year off of work and, you know, going to traveling, and like, I can tell that she thinks this whole thing is a bad idea. And so she's like, well, we got to ask our homeowners association and stuff, and I got to talk to your dad about it. And you know, they have a little homeowners association out there where they live, but it's on a lake. Like, everybody has like pontoon boats, and they've got trailers out there, and you know, they've recently come up with things where you can't like live in a camper there anymore, but people have campers and pontoon boats and jet ski trailers everywhere out there. So there's no way that the homeowners association is going to have a problem with them having a cargo trailer on their property. They had a goddamn camper out there before. So but with that being said, like I can tell by the way she's talking and the things that she's saying that there is a possibility that she might say no and give me some bullshit excuse just because she thinks all this is a bad idea, and she feels like she can just stop the whole thing if she doesn't let me do it out there, because she knows I've got no other options. So with that being said, I've decided that I'm coming up with a backup plan. And what the backup plan is that if I have to, if all the plans start to fall through, I will buy a conventional travel trailer. Guys, I do not want to do it that way. I do not want to move away from building all these systems myself and making something that's truly like self-sufficient with solar and stuff like that. But if I have to, if that's what it comes to, I will buy a conventional travel trailer. And, you know, I've looked into it off and on this whole time, you know what I mean? And so I know a lot about it, but it's just not the way I want to do it. And I know I've talked a little bit about that before, but, you know, let's just talk about like what it is that makes me not want to do it in something I can just go buy. Because, you know, I can go buy a brand new little Coleman lantern for 15, 16 grand, you know, or if I went used, I could buy something bigger and better for 10, you know. I mean, so that's always been something that I've had my eye on. Man, I sure could do it cheap if I did it that way. But like, those things are set up, they're not set up for what I want to do. I want to be able to boondock, to go out somewhere where I don't have any hookups and be able to subsist on solar and stuff like that. Like, they're not set up for that. They're set up to be in an RV park, plugged in, you know, with sewer hookups and stuff. That's the way they're designed. And that's problematic for a number of reasons. Number one, they've got a bunch of shit on the top of them, you know, big AC units and vents and stuff and antennas all over the tops of them. So it makes it very difficult to fit a large amount of solar on a smaller trailer. And then, you know, there's also the fact that I don't want to deal with black tanks and gray tanks and all that. And then, you know, they're more or less made out of paper. You know what I mean? Like, they're not very, they don't last very long typically, and they're not very well made, and all the wires are inside the walls, and, you know, plastic plumbing and stuff that just doesn't seem like it's built for the long haul. And I've heard so many horror stories of people just dumping money on money in them because of these problems. And then there's also the fact that, you know, since they're designed to be plugged in somewhere, you know, a lot of the, like the refrigerators, they either work on electricity and they use a lot of electricity, or they will work on propane, and everything works on propane furnace, propane stove. And I've talked before about how I don't want to use a bunch of propane. It's something that I gotta refill and pay for all the time. You know, and there's other stuff too. They're not insulated very well, you know, but, you know, I'm trying to find a silver lining, and I'm trying to think that if this is the way that I have to go in order to achieve this goal, I will go that way. And I'm trying to find the silver lining in it. And so some of the good things about it would be that I wouldn't have to do a bunch of building. I wouldn't have to spend a bunch of money on all this solar and build these intricate systems. And, you know, like if I ever decided that I wanted to just come off the road and instead of traveling, just stay in one place, I could put it in an RV park and pay a small amount of rent, you know, $500-600 a month for rent and electricity and everything. And nobody would think twice about it. Whereas with a cargo trailer, they're going to look sideways at you because it doesn't have all the certifications, and it doesn't have black tank, gray tank, all that stuff. You know, you can't really do it with that. So that's kind of a plus, right? And then there's also the fact that for about the amount that I'm going to spend doing solar and all, building these systems and everything, for about that amount, I could just stay in RV parks as I travel, you know, and it would kind of be a wash, be about the same amount of money. There's still going to be some things I'm going to have to do to it, upgrade the batteries and put at least some solar on it. And, you know, there will be some things I have to do to it. But ultimately, the fact of the matter is that I'm going to achieve this goal either way. I follow a certain philosophy of life. Many of you are familiar with it. Maybe not many, but quite a few of you are familiar with it. And I will pursue this in that fashion. I will achieve this goal no matter what kind of changes and adjustments I have to make, what kind of obstacles I have to overcome. I will achieve this goal. And, you know, shortly after my 50th birthday, I will take this time off for myself. And if that means that I have to do it in a regular travel trailer and not be able to build my own systems and stuff, then that's what I'll do. And you know, guys, I'm not angry with anyone. I am disappointed that there is now the possibility that I won't be able to do this the way I wanted to, but I'm not angry at anybody. Nobody is obligated to help me in this. You know, my friends, my parents, none of them are obligated to allow me to do all this at their place. I understand that's burdensome. I understand that I have no real right to count on people to help me and stuff. You know, I understand that, and I'm not the type of person that holds grudges or gets angry about stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I will do whatever it takes to achieve this goal. And if I end up having to do it all on my own without any support from others as far as letting me use their properties and shit like that, I will still achieve the goal. I will have to change the way I'm approaching it, but I will still achieve the goal. And I will do it in peace and joyfully, and I will enjoy myself when it happens. And, you know, if it ends up being 6 or 8 months, or if it's a year, or if it's a year and a half, which is all really going to depend on a number of factors, like if I really enjoy it as much as I think I'm going to, and how far the money I save ends up stretching. You know, no matter what the length of time this first time I take off is going to last, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen one way or the other, whatever it takes. So if you want to follow me on that journey and you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like the video. Y'all leave me a comment below. Give me some encouragement or tell me I'm a dumbass or whatever it is. And I'll see you on the next one. I appreciate you watching.